Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to the Comic-Con podcast. We're going to do some bonus content. So, of course, our latest episode ran very long, and we decided that instead of wasting another 20 to 30 minutes talking about Ahsoka, because I'm sure I would be talking about Ahsoka for a very long time, we decided to do some bonus content. So, we are going to watch the trailer, and then we are going to just talk about this amazing upcoming series starting in like a month. So, your boy Nemesis Prime, Milton Manimal, let's get
Let's do
right
it.
to it for Ahsoka.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. You have no power.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Oh.
Pretty awesome.
Oh my god. All right. Let's deep dive into this. So, dude, like the opening scene with Marek and Shin
Mhm.
are like, or Shin and what's the other guy's name? Balin
Yeah.
and Shin, like immediately gave me chills of like Rogue One, Darth Vader, or like A New Hope, Star Wars. Like just a corridor.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure.
Dude, that was just like so awesome. I mean,
Did
I'm
it-
like, God.
Did it feel like and I don't know, maybe just keyed into this more because of obviously what happened with Ray Stevenson dying? I wonder if they gave him like a little bit more in this upgraded trailer, right? Because we definitely saw more of Balin in this one, right? And maybe that was always the plan, but it kind of just, regardless of what they decided to do or why they did it, just hit a little different, right? Seeing him, knowing he just passed like 2 months ago, maybe at this point.
Yeah.
It just kind of, there's a little bit more, I don't know, angst and like depth to it a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of, it's sad.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, like, just it's weird when you see that, right? Like you're seeing the character, and
you know he's dead, and like there he is right in front of you. It's straight. It's hard to like kind of, relate it or like, yeah.
He's like an actor, and you're like, man, he looks. It's like so good, and then you realize you're like, oh, this is his last performance.
It's also like it's very disappointing too, because it's kind of like I've already set in my head, like, well, I better not like his character too much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so I mean, this is just an amazing trailer, like hands down. Like it's, if you watch the trailer that just came out like 2 days prior to the dropping of this, that journey to Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni basically said previously that this is season 5 of Rebels. Like, if you have not watched Rebels, people, you really need to be watching it. Like I've told Newbie, I'm like, you need to watch all 4 seasons before August 23rd. Like,
right.
I like watch like and I recently have, I probably watched it multiple times, but I recently finished it again, preparing for this. And just there's so much. Like I love Mary Weinstead as Hera. I love Natasha Bordello as Sabine, just from the trailer, right? And I know we always talk about this, right? Like trailers are one thing, and then the show's nothing. But I just can't see Filoni like fucking this up,
Yeah.
like at all. Like,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it looks amazing. And, I will say this about Rebels. And I mean, I've watched Clone Wars and Rebels, and the more digestible of the two is definitely Rebels, right? So, like, Clone Wars can be a little rough if you haven't watched it. And it's definitely, I suggest anyone trying to watch Clone Wars who hasn't before, go to Reddit and find like a list of episodes to maybe watch first, because there's a lot of filler. But Rebels, outside of season one kind of has some some pointless episodes, but outside of season one, it is smooth. The storyline is great and it moves forward, and these characters are amazing. I loved in the trailer in terms of like just so many kind of like callbacks, right, to Rebels, obviously outside of the characters in live action, but then even the graffiti on the wall that is like from Rebels. It's like the animation from Rebels, with like the whole crew of the Ghost right there on the wall, is just awesome. It's awesome to see. It's, I don't know, like I'm so apprehensive. I'm not saying I want the trailer to tell me these things, because I have a couple thoughts. Like I'm so glad that we know Anakin's going to be in here, whether it's Anakin, which I'm assuming is going to flashback, right? And I don't know, maybe we'll see some Darth, maybe we won't. Flashbacks or whatnot, but I like that they didn't reveal that. We didn't see that in the trailer. Part of me is still, of course, it's the big question mark, right? Was Ezra, because we just saw the same clip we've always seen, which is like this hologram of Ezra, right? And so it's like, well, god damn, they casted a guy as Ezra. Like, will we see live action Ezra with Thrawn coming back? And I want to know it so badly, but I'm glad it also kind of didn't get revealed in like the trailer. So,
a lot of people are talking. A lot of people are talking that. And this is my idea, is that Thrawn has him imprisoned, right?
Okay.
It's, obviously end of season 4 by now, people have obviously, you're listening to this, you're a Star Wars fan, that's why you're listening to our review. With the Purgles, like they disappeared. And now obviously, yes, we've seen Thrawn in 2 shots in this. They talk about getting Thrawn back. So where is Ezra? So obviously at some point my guess is he has him.
Or
right?
there has to be some explanation.
Yeah.
We'll get an answer. Yeah.
And and then there's this, like, we're currently watching the part where they have obviously like Sabine's cutting her hair. That's very Kanan Jarrus from like the Jedi Knight episode, and then even like the throwback to where she touches the mural, right? Like that from Rebels. It's the end of Rebels, and it's very weird because people are like, oh, it's not exactly like Ahsoka doesn't have her white, her white robes that she has at the end of season 4 in Rebels. But you know what? Like when Dave Filoni did this, he didn't think he was making a live action version. So like he's not going to parallel it, because it wouldn't make sense for Ahsoka to have like the gray garb in Mandalorian, and also, when we've seen her, like the few times that we've seen her, and then all of a sudden just have like a white garb, right? So I mean, people are bitching a little bit about this.
Oh, honestly, dude, like attire outside of like a comic book world where it's like a uniform, right? Like it's like the X-Men uniform, like the Star Wars, dude, I don't care what clothing they're wearing, like unless it's something like Boba Fett, right? If you get his first live action, or not first, but like reoccurring live action, it's like completely different, and he's not wearing armor or something, something that's like iconic like that. And I'm not trying, I know everything Ahsoka and Rebels is iconic to you for sure, but like for, the casual Star Wars fan, or even like a big Star Wars fan, I don't know. I don't think Ahsoka doesn't have like a quintessential attire. You know what I mean? Like I feel like she can move her attire as much as she wants. So yeah. I didn't even, honestly, I never even think about it until you mention it. So it's never been like an issue for me.
Yeah, it's just cool. Like little things that pop up.
Right.
But I mean, there's so much deep dive into this trailer too. Like here, like we have the HK droids, and we've seen the HK droids in that one episode of Mandalorian with with Morgan Elsbeth, because she's back. We can see her again in the trailer. So, that's cool, and my guess, obviously, and this has got to be it, right? So those 2 Jedi, or Sith, or whoever you want to call them, right? Shin and Baylan. I think that they board that ship, and they have Morgan as like a prisoner, and they're basically trying to, basically like do like a prison escape.
Yeah.
That's my guess in the beginning of this trailer, without a doubt. Like I just can't see any other reason. Like why would they show up on like a rebel cruiser?
Right.
And again, then there's also the talk of who this new Inquisitor is, who look like very much like the Inquisitor from season 2 of Rebels.
Yeah.
And it's come out and they like people were like, oh, it's gonna be Barriss because Barriss Offee was, a bad guy. She
Yeah.
kind of turned.
That's kind of it's a throwback to like, so it would be cool for like people like us who have watched it, right?
Mhm.
If you know who Barriss is. But like I feel like Filoni also has come out, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he stated you don't have to watch Rebels to watch Ahsoka. I feel like
No.
that's been stated. And so like if you do, or you don't have to watch Clone Wars to watch Ahsoka. So if you do Barriss, I feel like that's not true anymore. Because like you're not gonna know who Barriss is unless you watch Clone Wars. So
Mhm.
I hope that's
Yeah,
not
she's
who it
only
is.
in like a few episodes, so
Yeah, it's like at the
you really
very
wouldn't get
end.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it at all. But like the new Inquisitor, or people are saying it's the old Inquisitor. It's not. His name is Marek. That's all we know. We don't know who's underneath it. But typically we don't ever get to see that type of stuff.
Right.
It's great to see what's her name? Giovanni Riley, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
as
her
Mon
name.
Mothma. Yeah.
As Mom Mothma. So, she's coming all the way back from like Rogue One and Andor and now here. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a steady cast of the
Right.
same people.
It's great.
I'm telling you, man, the more I see Mary as Hera, I'm really getting more excited to see her. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
love her
good.
as an actress. I think she's badass, and
It's good casting for sure.
yeah, it's perfect. She's married to Ewan McGregor, so keep it in the family for Star Wars, right? Like,
So the big question, man, the big thing about this trailer, like thoughts on the fact that like this hinting of Sabine being possibly, training as a Jedi. Thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts of the whole what she
So
says?
to be honest, I could have done without it.
Mhm.
I don't feel like, don't get me wrong, when you talk about Star Wars universe, the Jedi are the coolest thing, right? Jedi and the Sith, that's the coolest shit. But we've talked about it a lot about how Star Wars has to break away from Jedi and Sith. Like there's so many other stories to be told. So in a way, it's cool because you're like, oh man, she's force sensitive. Maybe she's going to be a Jedi. Blah blah blah. Who knows what's going to happen? But at the same time, I also feel like and I'm not trying to be like offensive here, I guess, but it's lazy writing in a way. Like it's like, okay, another force sensitive person. Like you don't have to go that route. Sabine is an amazing character, no force sensitive, like you don't have to
Mhm.
have that. Just as a friend of Ezra, as a member of the rebels and the ghost ship, you didn't have to like church her up, so to speak, like with force powers to make her cooler.
But do
And
you think
honestly,
it's
I like the idea of you have a Jedi. Like it harkens back to the original trilogy, right? Like you have like a Jedi, and then you have like a rogue kind of person, like a Han
Mm.
Solo and a Luke. You got Ahsoka and you got Sabine. Like that's a great combo.
Mhm.
So
Now,
I
do
don't
you
know.
really? So obviously, you think like that, right? But you all think it's also, and the trailers always do this. Is you think it's
Right.
really just like it could be just like a play on words, like
It
her
could
just being
be.
like snarky and sarcastic, like calling her master because
Yeah.
she
It,
doesn't have someone,
it
and
could be. But
obviously, her. You see her in the trailer with the lightsaber with
right.
Ezra's lightsaber, so it's kind of like maybe she's just kind of training her in the event that she needs it because she previously had the dark saber, so she's had
Mhm.
training with Kanan.
It could
You
be,
know.
but I think the trailer very much, or the trailer wants you to believe that it's going that route, right? Because it's not just what you see with Sabine; it's also in context with like what Ahsoka says, how she walked away. Because then you're also seeing like an issue with Ahsoka, which I feel like Ahsoka's like she's kind of dealing with her own issues in a way. She's like, I walked away from Anakin, and then she goes on to say, and I also walked away from Sabine. So
Mhm.
it's almost like she's regretting this decision. Possibly both. She blames herself for maybe the turn of Anakin to Vader, and maybe she's regretting the fact that she walked away from Sabine and her training. Possibly, we don't know where that's going, because it also Hera even kind of like hints at there's someone who can help you. So there's some beef there. Like there's been a distance, and they're clearly Ahsoka and Sabine are not as close as they used to be. Like there's something there. There's a hint that like there's a division. So it makes you want to think that. Do I know if it's going to be that way? No, I don't. And it'd be kind of nice if it didn't, to be honest. I think if you had to ask me right now, choose right now. Do you want her to be force sensitive and be like a training of like a Jedi, or do you want her to just be Sabine Wren from the Rebels? And I'd say I'm good with Sabine Wren.
Yeah, I agree with you because for what we know in lore of Star Wars, the only Mandalorian to ever be a Jedi
Right.
was Vizsla.
And that
from-
changes a lot of things, right? Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
a
and
whole
I
new
don't
dynamic.
Yeah, and I don't really know if like they really want to go that route. Like I think I would rather see like a Mandalorian at some point in like the High Republic comics, right? Like that would be cool. But I don't really want it to be Sabine. I mean, I think like you said, Sabine's great as like the rogue
Right.
smuggler, you
Yeah.
know,
It's
just
like you're
blaster
throwing all your
fire.
things together kind of in a way by making her, hey, look, now she's a Jedi. Hey, look, now she's the first Mandalorian force sensitive Jedi since Vizsla. You know, like it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be that, dude. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
have to.
Thoughts on Thrawn?
I'd like a new organic character. Who's that? Something
Yes.
like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Thoughts on like Thrawn? We get to first see him, right?
I mean, he looks great. Obviously you don't, it's hard to make a judgment. Thrawn's such a great character, and I'm excited that he's there. Obviously, when they mentioned him in Mandalorian, it was like, whoa, mind blowing, right? And so we don't get a lot, which I'm happy about. I'm
Yep.
never a
Less is
complainer
better.
about not getting a lot from trailers. He looks great, and I can't wait to see more. I just hope he's not like, I'm thinking out loud now. My fear is that you're gonna have like Balin and them being the main villains, and I don't want that. I hope Thrawn shows up. You know, I don't want Thrawn showing up end of episode 2, which I bet you is what's going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to be that. I think for the most part. So obviously we get this. It drops on the 23rd. We're getting 2 episodes
Right.
now on the 23rd. I think like the first 2 episodes is nothing besides Ahsoka going to that temple, and then I think meeting up with Hera and meeting up with Sabine. And I feel like episode 2 would kind of end with them leaving. My guess is she's on Lothal still, and then that's how it's going to end. I don't think, but you know what it is too. Like, so they've already talked about possibly doing a season 2 of Ahsoka, right? And Filoni still has his movie. I swear, I think this is going to be his movie. I think Thrawn is going to be the big bad for his movie, so he's going to be around for a while.
That'd be cool. I think so. Real quick to kind of talk about like the episode drops, right? And I feel like we've maybe talked about this with like Marvel has done this. Obviously, Star Wars has done it. I think with Obi-Wan, where they dropped like the 2 episodes, and it's cool as like a viewer, right? Because you're like, oh, cool, I get 2 episodes. But I'm starting to see a trend with like Disney and like their shows, and when they drop 2 episodes, I kind of start to feel like, okay, you're dropping 2 episodes because your first episode isn't as strong as you necessarily thought it was going to be as like a standalone week 1 show to then come back and make someone wait week 2. So I kind of feel like it's like part 1 and part 2. So as a standalone single episode, that first episode is not that strong, and you're afraid of probably like backlash. So you're like, let's do 2 in a row to complete the story, which that's fine, I guess. But you know, I feel like that's a trend with Disney Plus.
I thought because they decided this, and again, I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Is that the season ends the week before New York Comic Con, and originally it was going to end the week of New York Comic Con. So you figure, all right, so it ends the week before. Maybe they drop some more news at New York Comic Con, like something, right? So that's where maybe it comes into play. Like, oh, this is why they're doing this, so they can maybe see and be like an announcement. But again, this is all now changing because of the actors and writers and everything, the strikes.
So it starts on a Wednesday. So you're saying you thought before it was going to end the Wednesday before New York Comic Con?
Yeah. So because originally we posted it on the Comic-Con podcast's Instagram with all the listings. So it would have been the 23rd straight through till the 13th would have been the last episode. But now it's ending on, or it would have been ending on the 11th, but now it's ending on the 4th of October.
Gotcha.
So it's ending a week earlier than anticipated. So. I mean, I'm super excited for this trailer for the show. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's not much really more to talk about. I mean, as far as takeaways, I guess it's a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of play on words, I feel, and a lot of just parallels like throughout this entire trailer. So August 23rd is going to be, right around the corner. And oh God, dude, the action is just going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this.
I like the visual tones of it too. Like with the 2, I don't know, you don't want to call them Sith or Jedi or whatever they are. I like how dark it is, and then like their lightsabers being orange kind of throws like the light on them, but it's like different than like what we've seen with like the red sabers. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's cool. I really like what they've done with like the visuals on the show from the trailer, what we've seen from the trailer.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we're going to see Zeb, because we briefly saw Zeb
Right.
in.
He's the odd man out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of with the New Republic, but
Yeah.
obviously so is Hera. So we could see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't at least show up. But I think they'll
Save him for a
focus more
season
on
2, you know?
Yeah. I think they'll still focus on just the two main characters, or I'd say 3 main characters, I guess, with Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine. And maybe at the end we'll get a visual of Ezra.
So two things besides like obviously Ezra that 2 things I would like to see the most come from this show. First is total just fan wish list, right? Like I would love to see some kind of a flashback live action Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan Jarrus. Like that would just be, you didn't know it was coming. One scene, Hera showing like a flashback love scene or something between her and Kanan, and he's blinded. He's got the, it's the Kanan with the eye stuff on. Like that would be Freddie Prinze Jr. That would be killer. But I think kind of moving forward in like this universe of Disney Plus Star Wars, moving forward from this, I would like to see Sabine eventually interact with our Mandalorians from The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like it seems strange. You're building this whole Mandalorian community, right? They're back on Mandalore, and like she's still out there. So even during the show, it'd be kind of cool if you heard some kind of callback, like while she's dealing with this, she's also hearing rumors that the Mandalorians are back on Mandalore. And she's like, oh man, maybe I need to go check that out. That would be really cool. I feel like to kind of like tie the 2 shows together and the culture of Mandalorians and whatnot would be really cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. She needs to show up on Mando's show at some point, whatever, season 4 or, with Filoni's movie. Like if they brought it back to Mandalore somehow, like, right. So like she has to show up. The last time we saw her, even like family, like she has a brother, her mother. We don't know if they're dead because of the purge. Obviously, she wasn't on Mandalore during the purge. She was on Lothal. And that's pretty much from what we understand is what we know is like that she's been on Lothal, just waiting for the Empire to come back, and they never came back to take the planet. So,
yeah, we really don't have a lot of ties of her like Mandalorian culture with her too much, which would be fun to develop a little bit.
A little bit, I think, from season 3 towards
When
the
she had the
end when
saber,
she left, because then she doesn't really come back until like the middle to the end of season 4. So of Rebels. So, but yeah, my takeaway would just be to have another season, of course, and then just to really explore more of the characters.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think Sabine, Hera, because like even Hera, like you could do a whole like Rogue Squadron thing, right? And you don't need Jedi. Like you just have like fighter pilots. Like just do it. Do the whole Alphabet Squadron. That's canon.
Yeah, dude. She recruits Poe Dameron or something. Like you could even train her like a young Poe Dameron or something.
Exactly.
There's so many possibilities, and you don't even have to do Poe, but
yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? You're hoping for that? You're hoping for that Kanan, don't you? That Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah,
the
Kanan thing would be cool.
Kanan would be dope, right? Just like
because obviously cool. Now, like, and obviously we saw at the end of Rebels was their son Jace, right? Yeah, and he's going to be in it because they've kind of showed off the Lego. I think the Lego set kind of revealed that he's there. So
okay,
you're at least going to see him. How much I don't know, but
right.
So there's like a Force sensitive. Right, because he has to be Force sensitive. His father was Force sensitive. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, that's it. That's our quick breakdown of Ahsoka. I know, like I said, we would have just spent way too much long time on this if we would have done this.
Right.
And it was good to just watch this, and this will be up on all the platforms and here on YouTube. So
August 23rd can't come soon enough, right?
Yeah. So that's it, everybody. Enjoy your Ahsoka teasers from now until August 23rd, and we'll catch you on our normal weekly episodes. Thanks. Bye.
Later.